What's up, everybody? I'm Chase Lee, and you know what? Sometimes when I'm sitting at my desk or I'm piddling on my phone in the bathroom, I might receive a message. I might receive a random message from independent filmmakers, directors, producers, and they will ask if I can review their film to help it get more coverage. I will always oblige to that, by the way. If I'm extremely busy, maybe I can't squeeze them in, but if I have time, I'm willing to do that for filmmakers out there, because I majored in film myself. We're a part of the same community. I wish I had the same drive and passion as you guys to make stuff, and that's hard work. It's hard work to make something. It's hard work to distribute it and to get eyes on it. I understand that. So I am always willing to oblige in these situations, but the one thing I always tell them is that I will be honest. If I do not like it, I will say that. If I like it, I will say that. So with that in mind, I was messaged by the filmmaker himself, the writer, director, producer. He does a lot of stuff, FC Rabbith. If I mispronounce any name throughout this, just comment down below and tell me I'm wrong. I do it all the time. Anyways, this one's called A Brilliant Monster, and it is co-written and directed by Mr. Rabbith, and it is about a self-help author who, there's a little dark side to him. He's got a lot of baggage in his past, with his father, maybe with his friends, or dating in general, letting people in his lives, trust issues, all that stuff. And we focus on kind of his character and where he gets his inspiration from. Where does he get it from? A lot of characters bring that up in the movie. Where do you get your creativity from? What ignites that spark when you're writing a book? That's the age-old question to any, artist out there. What is your inspiration? Where do you get that creativity? So what this film does is it takes that concept and kind of spins it on its head in a more kind of sci-fi, kind of horror direction. And that's what's so fascinating about it, is that we've seen movies like this before where we have character studies on authors and, do they have voices in their head? Do they go to people for inspiration? What kind of dark ways do they have at getting the material on the page? And, authors are some of the most interesting people on the planet. So, reading into this before I even saw it and seeing the trailer, I was like, okay, this concept could be something. We could have a character that we follow where we're not really on board with and we kind of feel sympathy for, but we're just kind of along this crazy journey, just seeing where it goes. So I saw the movie. And I gotta be honest, I'm not really a fan. I've seen worse films this year. It is definitely not a bad movie. It's an okay movie, a little less than okay, and let me explain why. As much as I like the concept, and this concept of this author really kind of finding his muse, his creative, juice or whatever, when we find that out, it's an interesting kind of like I said, sci-fi kind of horror concept, something we've really never seen before. So the idea and the concept is there, but I did feel like it wasn't explored a little bit more than it should have been. The themes in this movie have to do with, obsession and what will you do to, get your book out there, get your material out there. And this really does kind of plague on this character, and he really pushes himself to the limit. I just felt like the concept and the idea and the character growth could have been pushed a little bit more. Now, this is actually a compliment. So whoever's watching this from the cast and crew, do not take this as a fault. This is a wonderful idea for a TV show, not a feature film. It never felt to me like it was cinematic. It felt to me episodic. So if that is something to kind of play with maybe in the future, go for it. You have my blessing. I would like to actually see this as a TV show and explore it a lot more, maybe in an anthology series bouncing between different people. Speaking of that, the reason why it doesn't feel cinematic is it's twofold. One, I'll get the kind of lighter one out of the way because it doesn't really bother me that much, but it is noticeable. Most of the acting is kind of so-so to kind of stale. Now, the main actor, Dennis Freeby, I believe that's how you pronounce it. Once again, just tell me below if I'm doing it wrong. He did a fantastic job as the main character. He had this cold look to him. but also this likability where you're like almost towing the line with danger a little bit, and that's what was so exciting about his character. He reminded me of Dexter. Like the show Dexter with Michael C. Hall kind of reminded me of that character. A lot of baggage in with this person. He thinks he's doing the right thing, but he's really not. So I thought he did a wonderful job. His character could have been pushed a little bit more, but he did a wonderful job performance-wise. Everyone else was kind of felt like they were line reading, and I didn't really feel the passion or the oomph in the scenes that they were delivering. It's just, it is what it is. And the second thing why I don't think this works as a feature film, but more of an episodic type of venture, is the visual look to it. It's kind of ugly. A lot of scenes are basically lit. A lot of scenes are not lit well. A lot of greens within this movie, which I'm fine with. They at least keep it consistent. But besides a couple of neat camera tricks where we're doing like a really cool like 360 kind of shot, dollying on a character, or some really beautiful one shots, or this really awesome closed in shot, kind of closed in long shot, where we have like the guy's kitchen, the guy's upstairs, and it literally just looks like it's in the middle of the screen because everything else is blacked out. I thought that was really cool because it really kind of focuses on the claustrophobic, feeling that this character has of trying to get the material he needs to finish his book. I thought that stuff was brilliant. But I thought, for the most part, the visual look was kind of ugly, wasn't really interesting, kind of basic, a lot of house shots, doesn't really kind of push itself in terms of a visual narrative. When you're dealing with these type of like science fiction and horror type themes and tropes, it's got to look good. It really does, to kind of push this concept even further. Now, there were a few shots, particularly outside, and I noticed, I think it was a camera switch, where that looked more DSLR friendly, and the rest of the stuff was not. Could be wrong, but the stuff outside was beautiful. Whether it dealt with, there was a scene where kind of goes back to his past where he's being bullied. I thought that was really well shot. It was a really nice kind of like following the character around a circle. Beautiful stuff. The very opening with him and this particular person, let's just say it's his driver, that was really well done. So I don't know if it was a camera switch or if it was just kind of pickup shots, but those shots look better than the overall movie. And I think the last thing I want to kind of mention is that I didn't really get into it, to be honest with you. Like, I tried, the concept was cool, but as the movie kept going, just the visual look to it and just the kind of mediocre acting just kind of took me out of most of it. And maybe I'd be more sucked in if this was a TV show, but for an hour and a half, it was way too short, and it should have been extended way longer, because I feel like they stretched out the material so thin to an hour and a half that it felt thin. It didn't really feel like it was going anywhere, just explored enough. Once again, a wonderful idea for a TV show. That's not a fault. I think you guys should do this. If you guys are listening, cast and crew out there, please do this as a TV show and do it for a streaming service. I don't think this works, as like I said, a feature film for the visual looking and stuff. And I was imagining it playing out in a theater screen. I just could not see it. But a lot of pros, a lot of cons. Ultimately not for me, but it's definitely not the worst thing I have ever seen. It is a competent movie, and it's got some interesting ideas. I wish they were just pushed a little further. So I'm going to give A Brilliant Monster a C-. So what did you guys think of it? Have you even heard of it? Comment that place right below my face and let me know. And if you're a part of the cast and crew, please let me know how I did down below. And I really appreciate the reaching out, Mr. Rabbit. And I hope this review helped you out a little bit, spreading the awareness of your film. So that will do it for this review, guys. I'm Chase Lee reporting for this YouTube channel, my YouTube channel, Real Chase Lee. And I will see you guys next time for whatever I review next. I will see you guys later.